On behalf of the New York Wine and Grape Foundation, we welcome you to Classic Wine Awards ceremony, announcing the winners of the 35th New York Wine Classic competition. Tonight's event will reveal and celebrate the best in category winners, as well as the prestigious Governor's Cup and Winery of the Year. You will also learn about New York Wine and Grape Foundation's new partnership with the Beverage Testing Institute, who judged over 600 wines entered into the competition from 96 wineries across the state. While we wait for everyone to get logged in, we would like to review a few logistical details. If you find yourself with streaming issues, please limit other internet users in your office or household. You may need to close all other open browsers, or you may also find it helpful to log in and out and back in with Firefox or Explorer. We have an easy method of communication for today's webinar. The chat is an informal way for you to communicate with other attendees. Please be sure to select all panelists and attendees in the drop-down To field, as it can default to panelists only. Today's webinar is being recorded and streamed to Facebook Live. To begin today's webinar, I would like to introduce you to Sam Filler, Executive Director of the New York Wine and Grape Foundation. Sam, I hand the mic to you.
Thank you, Rebecca. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight for, I think, is the first ever virtual presentation of the New York Wine Classic Awards. Normally, the judges are the first folks that get to know who our winners are, and we have a nice lunch with them. However, as many of you know, there was a little global pandemic last year. And so in August, when normally we would be getting together for 3 days in Watkins Glen with all the judges and the hundreds of wines submitted to taste, we unfortunately had to postpone this year. And fortunately, I learned about the Beverage Testing Institute from the New Jersey Wine Grape Growers Association, who also holds their own Governor's Cup. And they said they had really great success partnering with BTI. And so, we reached out to the industry, and many of you indicated that you still wanted to see the New York Wine Classic go forward despite the pandemic. So we decided to work with BTI to help support us in getting all the wines judged and reviewed. And so we're excited about this format this year. And we have a lot of exciting guests also on tonight that will be introduced later. But first, I'd like to introduce Geraldo Kennard. He is the director of the Beverage Tasting Institute, and I turn it over to you, Gerald.
Hello, everyone, and greetings from the Windy City. We're very happy to partner with New York Wine and Grape Foundation to conduct the evaluations for the New York Wine Classic. We did so here in our tasting lab. You can see a mock-up of it behind me. One of the things that happened with COVID with our organization is we had to concern ourselves with, continuing to provide our services for the wine, beer, and spirits industry. So we actually revamped our tasting room and put plexiglass enclosures around each of these stations that you see. We spread them out 6 feet. We reduced our panel pool down to a kind of a pod structure of seasoned panelists that came in. So we really try to minimize the risks for everyone involved in the evaluation and follow the guidelines of other laboratories and testing facilities around the country that were all responding to the pandemic. So just a nutshell about us, we are actually a New York corporation. We were founded in Ithaca in 1981 with the idea of starting the first national wine competition, which was done so by our founder, Craig Goldwyn. He actually partnered with Dr. Harry Lawless from Cornell University to develop a methodology that was a bit different than other approaches to wine judging at the time. We're a member of the American Society of Testing and Materials. So the work that's done by that organization really informs our methodology and our practices, and we really conform to those testing standards that are set up by that organization. So with regards to that, in terms of the actual tasting, what we do is we work with smaller groups of panelists here in our tasting lab in Chicago. Everything is tasted blind. So all of the 607 wines that were evaluated this year for New York Wine Classic were done by basically panels of 3 and 4 panelists, moderated by Laura Kruming-Berg, our Associate Director. And these are panelists that have expertise with the New York wines. Many of them were involved in the wine trade, either in New York or here in Chicago, working with New York wines and very familiar with the categories, as is our staff. So things are done in much smaller groups. We did a total of 24 tasting sessions over the course of 3 months. We evaluated 25 wines in each session, all flighted by category using our flighting procedure. And everything is tasted blind. The panelists enter their comments and their evaluation into our computer system. And then once a flight is over, the panelists will share their notes with the moderator, who will, compile the feedback and the tasting notes that eventually go into our reviews. Some of the reviews were published on our site, tastings.com. The entrants had the option either to do a full BTI review or a competition-only review that was set up at the beginning as one of the parameters. And it was a great exercise, I think, for us in terms of working with New York Wine and Grape Foundation and being able to accommodate the situation that they were in and kind of adapt some of our procedures and onboarding of the wineries to make sure that everyone had a seamless sort of transition to our experience, and we hope that was accomplished. And it was a great pleasure to evaluate and reconnect with a lot of the brands that we had not seen in a little while, as well as ones that are regular BTI clients. So it was a real win-win in our book. And I'm happy to field any questions or such in the chat if there's any questions about anything that we did in terms of our work. But really looking forward to showcasing the winners. There were tremendous wines as I was looking at the list. And compiling a few of the judges' comments for Kevin, our host. It just brought back a lot of good memories. I did sit on some of the panels, and I did kind of review some of the wines afterwards, as we always do, when they're open samples at the end of the day, to just sort of check out the good things. And there's lots of good stuff here. So it's been a real pleasure, and looking forward to the rest of the show. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Gerald. I think the only thing missing is the tasting at the governor's mansion, which we were hoping was going to be happening this year, but unfortunately COVID still is in the way. So perhaps next year we'll be celebrating in person the winners, which would be really nice.
That would be great. Looking forward to that. Cheers.
Yeah. Thanks, Gerald. Our next speaker is Lorraine Hems. And she is a lecturer at the Rochester Institute of Technology, Saunders College of Business. She's also a certified somm, and she's a certified wine educator. But most importantly to us, she has been the head judge of the New York Wine Classic. And sadly, we weren't able to get together in person in August. And I can say, if you're wondering, what does a head judge do? Well, sometimes we put ringers into the flights. And so, say you were a judge on the Gruner Veltliner table and you say, hey, Lorraine, this doesn't really smell like Gruner. And she'd come over and she'd say, yes, I smell the cat pee. It must be Sauvignon Blanc. So I don't know why she would talk with a French accent, but in my mind, that's what she does. So anyway. We love Lorraine. We're sorry we couldn't see her in person this year, but here we are virtually. And Lorraine, I turn it over to you.
Thank you, Sam. Sometimes I do speak in a French accent. I'm fluent in French. Chardonnay, Merlot. Okay. So I didn't start in the very beginning with it, but right after the New York Wine and Grape Foundation started in 1985, the first classic was held in 1986 in New York City. And one of the judges that Jim Treesice invited was Kevin Zraly. So we're really coming a little full circle with all of that. But I didn't have my opportunity to start judging until the 1990s. And I had been invited because the retail shop that I worked at the time really focused on promoting New York State wines. So there was a coin toss in the store and I got picked to judge, and I've never looked back because what an opportunity. I got to meet these wonderful people from not only all over the country, but also all over the world. And truly, these people would bring in all of their backgrounds. So we would have mixes on our panels so that we had different perspectives that we would bring to these flights of wines, whether they were Gruner, Veltliner, not as much back then, but you would have wine writers, people from the wine shops, you'd have restaurants, you would have authors, now bloggers, and you would have master of wine, master sommelier. So truly a representation of all across the industry coming together and forming these wonderful relationships. And I got to say, some of the best times were also involved the backroom volunteers who worked so hard to organize all this. There's so much that the judges can just walk in and sit down, but having the New York Wine and Grape Foundation organize and categorize all of this is tremendously hard work. So after all these years, when I was asked to be a head judge, I was like, okay, certainly I hope I bring a wide perspective to what the foundation is trying to do when they hold this competition and keep it professional. It too is judged blind. So that means we don't know where these wines are coming from, what wineries or what locations, and trying to group in these different flights, the wines that are very, very similar. And really representing the totality of what New York State represents. So maybe you would have a judge show up and say, well, I'm really good about judging Cabernet Sauvignon. I'm like, well, that's great for you, but we want you to be prepared to embrace all of it and judge fairly, even if it's not something you drink every day, but judge fairly what this native grape, this regional grape is, and made well, and hybrids and European vinifera grapes. So a wide variety of grapes that would be represented with these wines. Rebecca, would you like to start the best of? Because this is the excitement. We don't know, and so to have best in class announcements and then all the way up to Governor's Cup and Winery of the Year is exciting for us. We wouldn't have any idea what was necessarily going on, and to see this increase and shift in the industry through the years. You see all of these great wines being represented, the best ofs, and from all over the state. So it's really great to see wineries that we've known for years, newer wineries, and how these have really impacted the industry and how they're able to promote these wines throughout the rest of maybe the US and beyond. So it's really a wonderful opportunity to be able to do this. So I wanted to take a moment just to say one of my favorite memories as a judge was at Mohonk. And at Mohonk Mountain House, I got to judge with Kevin Zraly, who I had first met in the industry, and he's wonderful about demystifying things. I was terrorized when I first started out in the industry about Bordeaux. And all of a sudden, within a few hours, like, hey, whoa, this is pretty cool. I'm understanding this. And then having him come to the Finger Lakes and do a master class on Riesling. But to be seated next to him, he was on my panel, and have him say, that turret up there at Mohonk Mountain House is where I first wrote the first complete wine course, the Windows on the World book, in 1985, was memorable. And that's the great thing about these competitions. You learn so much from everyone around you. But I think most of you are familiar with Kevin Zraly through his book, his seminars. He has been a representative of our industry throughout the world, internationally known as author and wine educator for 50 years. It might make him sound old, but he's still very youthful in his approach to making things easy to understand. And I'm very excited to be able to introduce him tonight. My pleasure to introduce him tonight, because he is such a figure in our industry, continuously teaching us. So Kevin?
Well, I think I'm on. Nope, there we go. No, it's coming. I know that. Can you see me? I don't know. Lorraine, can you see me? Am I on here right now? I'm at the top. Thank you for that.
I can see you.
Good. That's all that matters. And thank you for that nice picture. Anyhow, I am honored to be here because all the nice things that Lorraine said. I started in New York. I was born in New York. I'm in New Paltz, New York right now. Mohonk Mountain House, I could normally see if it wasn't for the clouds, I could see the tower. I went to the State University at New Paltz, graduated with a degree in education, nothing to do with wine. As a matter of fact, Lorraine, I planted my first vineyard on Mohonk property. Gosh, that was 73 or 74. And to watch New York State. So I was working in this restaurant in a place called High Falls. It's between New Paltz and Woodstock, New York. And we got a 4-star rating from Craig Claiborne of the New York Times, who was with Pierre Franet and Jacques Pepin. And so we were the first and only restaurant to get this 4-star rating. And the owner said to me at 19, you're the bartender, you do the wine list. I knew nothing about wine, but I started in the Hudson Valley. And actually the first winery I went to was Ben Morrow with the Miller family. And of course, I see Brotherhood won their best Cabernet Sauvignon. So I was just there not that long ago during the COVID. They had it all set up where you could be far away from everybody. And then there was a winery, somebody might remember it if you've been around a long time, in Rockland County called Hightor. And there was Hudson Valley, big village over in Highland. And that was about it. And then I ventured out to the Finger Lakes. And then I got to meet, what happened was we got an offer from Ulster County Community College to teach a wine class. That was 1971. That's 50 years ago. And of course, I knew nothing about wine. And the owner, Chef John Novi, knew nothing about cheese. But we said, sure, why not? We'll get 6 people. Well, we got 30 people, and you learn to think quick. But I went up because, all right, Hudson Valley's done. By the way, remember this is 1970. Long Island, you weren't there. We were waiting for you to come. Then I went to the Finger Lakes, and I actually got to work with Dr. Frank. And I can't tell you the whole story. It's in the book at the winery. But what a great experience that was. And of course, grafting and planting. And then I also at that very time got to meet, these are old timers, by the way, so if you don't remember them, but Walter Taylor, anybody remember, Bully Hill? And that's when I first met Herman Weimer, who his English wasn't very good. So to watch this transition, and then again in 1985, start with the New York State wine judging to see and taste the quality of the wines that I have tasted here. They're all with me. Is fantastic. It just says something about the quality and how far we've come. That's really what it comes down to. So anyhow, I know you're all waiting, so you want to hear the awards, and that's my job. I'm the presenter, but I just wanted to throw that in because my mother's watching. Okay, you get the idea? So the first category, and I have to read some of this stuff. Normally I don't like to read things, but because I said, Gerald gave me some great quotes about people, what they said about the wine. And the first category is best sparkling wine. Of course, that's best traditional method. Call it, Lorraine, you would call it Methode Champenoise, I'm sure. And here are the notes on this wine. Notes of apple, listen carefully because I'm a writer. Some of these I didn't get. Notes of apple, custard tart, pineapple. This is the one I didn't get. Rubbery balloon. Okay. Sourdough, saffron, honeysuckle, yellow apples, hints of soil, attractive leesy nose, and assertive mousse with bright and balanced acidity. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner for 2021 for best sparkling wine, Paumanok Blanc de Blanc Chardonnay, North Fork of Long Island. And I think we have somebody on here. Is that correct? Who do we have on? From there, there's the whole thing, 100% Chardonnay.
Hi, Kevin. Kareem Massoud here.
There you are, Kareem. I'm glad that you woke up. You were sleeping before. But congratulations. It's a big win.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. On behalf of my family, we're very excited and thrilled to receive this award. Thank you very much. And I just want to say thank you especially to, that winemaking is always a team effort. And so the whole wine growing team at Paumanok, especially my brother Nabil Massoud, our vineyard manager, but the whole wine growing team at Paumanok really we're proud of our team. So thank you very much.
And you're doing great stuff out there from the first time I came out, which I don't know how many years ago. When did you actually start, Kareem? I'm trying to think how many years ago.
So my parents, Charles and Ursula Massoud, who are also here tonight,
Okay.
They founded Paumanok in 1983, and we started making wine in 1990. So for the 1980s, we were just growers. And then our first vintage as an estate winery was in 1990.
Imagine, here we are. It's not that long ago. I mean, you were a young kid, right? And congratulations to your mother and father, who I first met at Windows on the World. By the way, that's where I was for 25 years. Oh, there they are. Everybody's here. Nice to see you. I might have you back again. I'm not sure. We'll see how this goes, But I hope everybody's having fun. Yeah, everybody's here. All you got to do is have a computer.
My brother Salim and Nabil as well. Yeah.
well, thank you for all being here. Congratulations. I know it's not your first time winning, but again, on a sparkling, or I shouldn't say that, Method Champenois, I don't want to say sparkling wine, to get, 100% Chardonnay, to get it to that, all those words, except for one that said rubber or balloon. I have no idea. It's not my writing, by the way. Gerald gave me all these notes here right now. So anyhow, congratulations. And I'm going to move on to our next category, which is best white wine. And actually best Gewurztraminer is the title. So here's some of the words that were put out for this wine. Big, lush, classic Gewurz nose. And by the way, I did open it. I had to see if it's classic. I got to smell it. And fascinating, that you can get that if we all know what Gewurz smell is all about. And here it is, again, spot on palate, excellent depth and purity with pinpoint, mouth-watering acidity. So being able to have the fruit, this is a fantastic wine with food. I can see that going on right now. So with 17 different vines, the largest winery in Long Island, let's welcome Pindar Vineyards, and congratulations, Dr. Dan's. I don't know if Dr. Dan is here, but Dr. Dan's Gewurztraminer 2019 is our winner in that category. So do we have the whole group? We got the whole group. You guys, what, you're not working right now? You should be working. It's still, early, but that's great. It's a group shot. Who's going to be the speaker to say thank you or whatever?
It's Pindar Vineyards from Pindar Vineyards. Thank you. Mute it for a second. Yeah. Mute that one.
That noise helps the wine, correct? That noise helps the wine age.
It's a great honor at Pindar Vineyards for
Pindar Vineyards.
Can you tell us a little bit about the wine, the Gewurztraminer?
Yeah, sorry, we're having a little hard time hearing you. But yeah, this is from a 6-acre block that we have right at the tasting room. And it was actually picked pretty young, early in the season. We picked it in September, at the end of September, partly because of the proximity to our tasting area. Guests love to just grab berries off of the vineyards. So we did pick it a little early. The flavors were really intense. The bricks weren't incredibly high, but we were really pleased with the end result and decided to do the Dr. Dan's designation for it. This is the first time we ever released this wine for Pindar. So, and we were like I said, we were excited about it. That's why we gave it the Dr. Dan's designation to pay homage to Dr. Damianos, who started Pindar Vineyards and has passed away.
I remember going out there with him the first time to go. And again, I always think about Long Island, 73, guys. It's been just since 1973 that you sort of existed when the Hargraves started their winery and were said that they were crazy. But they also said that about Robert Mondavi, by the way, in Napa Valley. He's crazy to do what he's doing. And did anybody tell you were crazy to grow Gewurztraminer and make it into a wine? Well, crazy works, I guess, because you just won the award. So any other comments from Pindar?
Yeah, well, just thanks for to New York Wine and Grape Foundation and the New York Wine Classic Beverage Testing Institute. It's a great honor. Thank you.
And to everybody at the team of Pindar, from the vineyard manager, the crew to the vineyard, all the way to the winery, to the ownership and the staff in the tasting room. This wouldn't be possible without your greatness. And we're happy as a family after 41 years to celebrate this moment. So we thank all of you and the New York Wine and Grape Foundation and the Wine Classic. Thank you.
You're also one of the old timers, right? All the newbies came to see you guys to see what you were doing. And then you also won Best White Blend. So congratulations on that. That's a double whammy going on. So thank you, Pindar Vineyards. And I'm going to move on now to our Best Red Wine. You guys won the Best White Wine. So it's the Best Red Wine or Best Red Blend, and it's under the vinifera category. I remember also tasting in the early days, Labrusca was part of the category, but I'm not going there right now. So this is a very Bordeaux-like with spicy, alluring aromas of cedar, ink, cream, savory fruit, and root vegetables. Young, vibrant, and high quality. would sell to Syrah fans. Impressive, with a little aeration going on. And this is Cabernet Sauvignon, this is Merlot, this is Cabernet Franc, and there's a little Petit Verdot in here. And I would like to announce, hey, you're back again. Karim, you're back again. Paumanok 2015 Assemblage. I hope that you're actually giving it that name. You see, I told you I would see you again. I just knew it would just happen, So this is a very, as I just said, you just saw the words that were on this wine, but I got it with me. And this is 6 years old, call it 6 years old, all right, or whatever. And this is a wine to me that's got length. And that's not always what I found in Long Island. So this is very, very special. What can you tell us how long you've been doing this particular wine?
Thank you, Kevin. It is a very special wine, and by our own judgment, it's special in the sense that we don't do it every year. We only do it in a vintage we deem to be a grand vintage. We essentially declare the vintage. And so to answer your question, the first time we made it was in 1993 when my father, Charles, had this incredible vintage on his hands, and he said, I can't put the same label on it that I did the last 3 years. I need to amplify the quality of connote the quality on the label. And so we came up with the term grand vintage. And in a grand vintage year, the assemblage is our grand vintage quality blend. And this was a lot of fun to make this wine. It spent over 2 years in barrels, 28 months in barrels, and then another 2 years in bottle before we released it.
And it was French oak, as I recall, correct? There's French oak and you barreled it with barrique, I would imagine.
Correct,
So,
and about 15% new oak.
Right.
So trying to be very judicious with the amount of new oak we're using in that wine. But the idea of spending, this was the first time we did over 2 years in barrel. Most of the production of this wine is finished with screw cap. And so the idea is to give the wine some development in barrel before we capture that and bottle it up nice and tight with the screw cap.
Actually, I tried to put my corkscrew through the screw cap. Okay, just so you know, I'm not used to having a Cabernet Sauvignon with a screw cap, but I'm a believer in screw caps. Just so you know, and this wine's going to be very, very interesting.
As are we.
Huh?
I said, as are we. We're big believers in caps.
And then Charles and Ursula, there you are. I have 3 boys too. I just want you to know. Then I got a princess. So that's why I got to keep working for the princess to make sure that she finishes college and all that kind of stuff. So, Charles, Ursula, you have anything you want to say? And your brothers are here, all you guys, the whole family.
Kevin, first, it's great to see you. We're very happy for our 3 sons to be getting these awards. They're doing the lion's share of the work, and this is really a recognition of what they're doing. So we're very pleased with that kind of recognition. And we're pleased to see you again. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Well, it's been at least a year. I can assure you of that, because I haven't left New Paltz. And I do want to say this because, this is, of course, it's, I had it in my family, not me, but my 2 of my sons actually had the part of the pandemic virus. But I've been staying home. I haven't gone anywhere. And I'm very Catholic, and I got my first shot on Ash Wednesday, and I just got my second shot on St. Patrick's Day. So, God is with me, and God is with all of you guys at Pindar. That's rare that, in the categories that you're getting, that you got 2 of the 5 awards right now. So thanks again. Keep doing it.
Thank you.
I'll keep drinking it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody. Yeah, where's my wine? I got to do that.
Cheers.
Thank you, and thank you to the New York Wine Grape Foundation, the New York Wine Classic and Beverage Testing Institute, and above all, our whole team at Paumanok. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. So, rosé. Where did rosé come from? I remember at Windows on the World, rosé. It was seasonal. You drank it, in the summertime. Not anymore, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking about rosé. I even put a chapter in my book on rosé, which I would never have thought I would have done. The quality of rosés around the world are unbelievable. So this is a very important category, especially for consumers. I'll tell you what, some of the, Gerald, thank you again. But by the way, did you see Gerald's last name? Kennard, okay? I hope I'm saying it right, Gerald, because he had St. Patrick's Day. He's still surviving from yesterday. I was O'Sraeli yesterday with my Irish mother, Kathleen Cummins. Anyhow, and she doesn't drink. That's a little serious problem I have with my mom. But notes, I'm just going to repeat, notes of vinaigrette, blood orange, sugared cherries, a slight herbal note that adds complexity. This is very important to the winner because the best place for me in the world, okay, I'm just saying in the world, is Provence in France. And a taste of Provence, this is what one of the critics said, a taste of Provence in Seneca Lake with silky texture and a savory mouth-watering finish. Ryan, are you in the estate tasting barn? Where are you? There it is.
Right here, Kevin. Hi, how are you?
Thank you. It's your chance, Ryan. You can tell us about the wine, tell us about the tasting barn, and
Sure,
how are sales going on the rosé?
It is very close to being sold out. We actually tucked a couple aside. I know that we need a couple cases after this event, but it's a great time of year to drink rosé. Any time of year is, but it's a tough time of year to hold on to last year's vintage.
And why did you choose? You could have chosen any grape that you want, but you went with high end. And we're talking about Pinot Noir. It's an expensive grape, and so what made you? And it's 100% Pinot Noir. So what made you go in that direction?
Yep, 100% Pinot Noir, 100% estate grown, as with all of our other wines here at Ryan William Vineyard. The reason that I went with it is because I take it from where it's coming from, but I think Pinot Noir is the best grape for rosé. I think it matures at the same rate that it ripens, and I think the flavors really begin to develop before it gets too ripe and the sugars get too high and the acid gets too low.
Well, what I also liked about it, and matter of fact, it's just so for the older people, not you, Ryan, you're a young guy, but we grew up on Matus and Lancers and Yago Sangria and Riuniti. Remember, I'm talking to everybody out here who remembers those days, which, the rosé style, but sweet, and tell us about what I know what the residual sugar is on here, but what are you trying to achieve with the low residual sugar, obviously?
Basically, our goal is to let the fruit speak for itself. And like I said, with the Pinot Noir, I think it does mature at the same rate that it ripens. So, to have that residual sugar basically is to strike a balance between it not being too sweet, and also if the fruit comes in with too much sugar in it, then if you do go too dry, then it gets hot. And so the idea is to pick it at the right time when the sugars are right to allow you to go all the way dry with it.
This is perfect balance wine. So congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Crowd pleaser as well. And the acidity, as you just said, it's balanced. You got the fruit, you got a touch of residual sugar, but then you have the acidity, which brings it all, and mouth-watering. I think somebody used the word mouth-watering. So Ryan, you have some other comments, or should I keep drinking?
No, please keep drinking. And I just like to say a couple quick words, but please don't let me get in the way of drinking. But I'm incredibly honored and humbled to have the opportunity to be here tonight. And I'd like to thank everyone involved in making this event happen, as well as all of our team members for all their dedication and all their the remarkable amount of hard work that they put in our vineyard and our winery and our tasting room. So thank you very much. Truly honored to be here tonight.
Thank you, Ryan, for joining us. And I think that Lorraine said, or Sam said, there was like 8, but we'll talk about it later, but 800, we'll talk, Sam's going to come back on, 800 different wines that came in. And I think the judges, Gerald, did a great job because everything I'm trying, and I'll use the word, and I have no problem using the word. I started with French wines, let you know. And so when I say world class, I mean the wines that I'm tasting here tonight are world class. So congratulations, and let's go to our last.
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry, you want more, Ryan?
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. And then we're of course going to have the Governor's Cup in a second, but we have our final category here right now. And our final category is best dessert wine. Call it sweet, call it whatever you want. Best ice wine. And I like the way they give me all the information. Thanks, guys. Frozen on the vine. Okay. All right. I'll take it. But here is some words for someone's wine who's going to win here in a second. Bold and memorable with a nice arc of starfruit, apricot, pineapple, yellow flowers, golden raisins, and herb roasted apples. So this is, the winner is Boundary Breaks 2019 ice wine. Bruce, I know you're here because I see your picture there. So this is a big thing as well. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. I'm here with my wife, Diana Little. We're owners at Boundary Breaks. We're an esteemed company because we've only been doing this since 2008. So we feel quite honored to be among the folks from all these other places that have been doing it for a very long time. I want to say a couple things first to Sam Filler and his team. They had to pivot. That's a often used word, but you know, a lot of things got canceled last year because people couldn't figure out how to do it any other way. But Sam and his team did figure out how to do it another way, and I think we ought to give them a real shout out because if that didn't happen, we wouldn't be here tonight. Diana?
So, as you know, ice wine takes a lot of special care, and so we really wanted to thank our vineyard team, Case Staple and Jesse and John. And we also really want to thank the winemaker, Dave Breeden, over at Sheldrake Point Winery, who does an amazing job with many of our wines. So more thanks to them.
And you know, one last thing, ice wine is a type of wine that, you know, is under threat as the climate changes. So places in Germany where we really draw our inspiration aren't able to make the ice wines that they, as often as they did before. We're fortunate here in the Finger Lakes. These are amazing wines. We pick the fruit in January, the berries of raisin, and you know, we want to keep making ice wine. It's a delicacy and it lasts for 100 years. So thank you for the chance to be here tonight, and Kevin, thank you for
well, I also want to thank you. I haven't tried it. All right, so to be honest with you, I'm going to, but I'm alone. You know, I don't want to. I have a party this weekend. I'm going to use all of the wines for the party.
Perfect.
And we all know, okay, we can go just so far about how much, you know, sweet wine or dessert wine or, you know, ice wine that we can do. But your passion, though, at your winery is Riesling.
Yes.
Am I correct when I say that?
Yes,
that's correct.
When we started, we had decided all we would plant was Riesling. So for the first 5 years or so, that's all we did.
Right.
We also realized over time that other people like other kinds of wines too, maybe. So we have since, we planted Gewurztraminer and Cabernet Franc. So these are the three grapes that we believe in, and we hope to be back here with one of those someday.
Well, I have to ask because I haven't met you, Bruce, unless I owe you money or something, and I'm running away. And Diane, I'm coming. Don't worry, I'm coming to visit. But so the inspiration was Germany.
Yes, the inspiration was Germany
and the climate and the Finger Lakes.
And we're from here,
right.
and we felt like Riesling had taken a kind of a hit,
right?
And it was time to kind of recover. So we put every chip on the table and said, time to recover.
Well, you're the winners. So there you have it. And then, you know, I've got to continue as the MC of this whole thing to make sure we finish on time.
Thanks for your time, Kevin.
Continue this conversation with everybody, but then Sam would get mad at me and say something. So thank you, Bruce and Diana. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have to go to the Governor's Cup Award. And also introduce the Winery of the Year Award. And we have Lieutenant Governor, as you can see here, Kathy Hubel is here, and she has something that she taped for us, and we'll announce the winners. So let it ride, guys. Let it ride.
Thank you, Kevin. I'm Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul, and I'm so glad to join you for the New York Wine Classic Virtual Awards ceremony. This year, the pandemic created extraordinary challenges for the wine industry, but you adapted, innovated, and continue to produce some incredible products. I know that wine was in high demand for many during the quarantine, so thank you for helping us all get through this year. New York is finally being recognized as the preeminent state for its wines and much, much more. From Long Island to the Finger Lakes, New York is now home to more than 600 wineries, breweries, distilleries, and cideries. New York's wineries and vineyards attract about 1.4 million visitors and drive tourism to many of our rural regions. Without a doubt, the wine industry is a major economic driver for New York State and has great potential for growth. Even during the pandemic, I visited wineries throughout the state to support them and encourage staycations for stir-crazy New Yorkers. Tonight, many of the awards have already been announced, and congratulations to all the awardees. And now I'm proud to present this year's top award and the Winery of the Year award. The Governor's Cup Best of Show for the New York Wine Classic is Pindar Vineyards. Pindar Vineyards is based on the North Fork of Long Island, and its 2019 Fan Signature Collection received 96 points and the Platinum Medal of the competition. Congratulations to everyone. And I'm now proud to announce that this year's Winery of the Year award goes to Paumanok Vineyards, also based on the North Fork, and with gold medals in Best Red Blend, Best Traditional Method Sparkling Wine, and Best Sauvignon Blanc. On behalf of the state of New York, congratulations to all the award winners, and thank you to the New York Wine and Grape Foundation for continuing to promote our great wineries. I look forward to visiting the wineries, vineyards, and tasting rooms again very soon. Thank you.
Thank you to the Lieutenant Governor, ladies and gentlemen. And, you know, it just happens that Pindar is still here. Hopefully they didn't leave. So you guys, you know, congratulations. So I hope that you're still there. You can tell us a little bit more about, well, that's one of them. But are you guys happy? Are you guys happy?
Oh
we're
God.
very excited.
Sorry.
You just missed us jumping up and down.
The sound just totally went out, so we didn't even hear the announcement.
Actually, you didn't win. It's a joke. And wanted to see how you would react to that. You know, we have another group coming on in a second, but that's this is a sweep, if you will, for these two awards to Long Island. So it says something about what's going on. What is going on out in Long Island? That's a question to all of you. What's you know, I've been doing it for a long time, since '73. Where is it going to be over the next 10 years? I'd be curious to hear your comments.
Well, we think there's going to be just continued growth. We didn't know what would happen with the pandemic and you know, everything that's been happening, and we've adjusted, we've moved, we have a lot of outdoor space, we've made it turn it into a great year. And we think it's just going to continue to go. The work that's being done at Pindar in the vineyard has been refocused. Our vineyard manager, Bill Ackerman, has done a great job rehabbing some of the vines. Some of these vines were planted over 40 years ago. So, and the Gewurztraminer is one of them. So he's done a great job of bringing them back. They're fruitful, they're tasting great, they're mature and healthy. And yeah, everything's healthy. So, and we've new equipment in the winery to improve technology. I came on board in 2018, so we've just been really focusing on improving the quality, and we're very excited that other people are enjoying the wine as much as we are. And we think that the year is going to keep growing up and up and up and growing.
You have a lot of different grapes. How many do you know how many you have now? How many different varieties out there in your vineyards?
You mean in the region as a whole?
No, just you, Pindar.
Just here, I think we have.
You're big.
Varietals.
You're big.
Planted. 17.
How many? 17.
Yeah.
But you also make different blends, so that's 17 varietals, and you make how many different wines?
Oh, the number of wines that we do. I think we have 22 at the moment, but that changes every vintage.
Right, which makes the winemaker go crazy sometimes, wouldn't you say? You know, but well, just any secret that's going to happen, not just with Pindar, but you hear through the grapevine in Long Island, we got some new grape coming on, or, you know, I'd like to get these things first.
Well, I think, you know, here at Pindar, we're excited about our 2019 Reds. Once we're working right now on pulling those out of barrel and blending. So I think people are going to be really surprised and excited once we do get those out to the public. And, you know, there's a lot of experimentation going on here on Long Island with plantings. We just planted some Sauvignon Blanc and Pinot Gris 2 years ago. So, you know, the process never stops. We just keep moving forward.
So there was no Sauvignon Blanc or Pinot Gris before. This is all new.
No, we have some, but we planted some some different clones, and you know, we think there's still growth, so we're still planting.
No, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You're hearing it here from Pindar Vineyards. Thank you, guys. Welcome. And by the way, you didn't tape that jumping up and down thing, though? Can you show us how you jump up and down? Like, oh, we won, we won. I'd like to see that. No, you're not going to do it right now.
What's that? What?
I'd like you to jump up and down, like be happy. Oh, we won. We won. This is what people want. I mean, that's a tremendous honor. So thank you. Thank you guys for being with us a few times tonight. And then our last award, I wonder if they're still there. Is the family of our Paumanok Vineyards? Look at that. Look at all the, look at, that's why. You got gold medal, best red wine, gold medal, sparkling wine. I mean, you know, you must be doing something right out there. You know, maybe it's Kareem. You think it's what is it? What is it? I mean, you've been doing this a while. Your family's been doing this a while. How did you know? Here you are at the top. The top.
Kevin, as my father says, winemaking is less of an art and more of a partnership with Mother Nature. Unfortunately, she's the senior partner, so we're really blessed with, you know, when we get a good vintage, we as the whole wine growing team become custodians of this gift from Mother Nature. And so it's our job to be, you know, to sort of coddle this blessing that we got from the vineyard and make it into wine. Cheers.
Tell us as you, I didn't open it yet either, because that would be a little bit too much. With the only two I didn't open was yours. I gotta look good at my dinner party. Hey, let's start off. I'm not going to tell them, by the way. I'm going to just let them try it, and I know what they're going to say. Tell me about how you and your brothers work together. Hopefully together. I got 3 boys, so when I say my boys work together, that doesn't happen. But what do you each involved in? What do you have a specialty?
Nabil, my brother Nabil, is our vineyard manager. He's overseeing all the vineyards at Paumanok as well as at Palmer Vineyards, which we also own and operate. So he has a huge undertaking that he takes on, and you know, as you well know, the wine is made in the vineyard. That's something we say time and time again. And so if the grape quality isn't there, then you know the wine quality isn't there. And so cheers, Nabil. And my brother,
he's doing all the work. You guys hanging out? What is this? You know, I'll let you continue. Sorry.
And my brother Salim is our administrative manager, who is an unsung hero, making all kinds of things happen behind the scenes. Thank you, Salim. And
thank you.
You know, there are times where, as my father says, you know, if it drives you to drink, and I think we sometimes drive one another to drink, at least we have enough. At least we have enough of our own products to address that problem. But we keep ourselves real and focused, and you know, we're very thankful that we have our family and to pull together into this enterprise.
And Charles and Ursula, you just hang out now and just enjoy everything? I mean, what do you guys do?
I'm extremely proud of our sons, and I want to thank them and their wives for supporting all this, for working together, and for you, Kevin, and for everyone in the industry. We have been seeing this for so many years, and I wish everyone continued. Let's move New York forward, yes, as it is, even better by the year. Thank you all.
You know, we should also congratulate all the other winners. I think we all take turns. This is really an expression of what's happening in New York. I mean, New York is really very different from the rest of winemaking in America. Our wines are a lot more old world like, and they're food friendly. And I think everybody in New York seems to be doing great wines, and we're very happy for this celebration. And I'm of course very happy for our sons. This is a great recognition that they are getting. and it's driving me to drink. All right, thank you.
You said you got plenty of it, so yeah, you're safe, and that's the most important thing, especially with the family. I do, at Windows on the World, for some of the people that are listening, I think we have the largest New York State wine list. I had them on at my restaurant before I got to Windows on the World. Actually, I was Dr. Frank's, I would deliver for him in Ulster County because he had nobody to deliver the wines. But watching the progress and, Kareem, what you're talking about is it's all in the vineyard. Well, guess what? It wasn't that long ago that the vineyardist didn't talk to the winemaker, or the winemaker didn't talk to the vineyardist. I'm talking about everywhere in the world. So we have some, this is, the sales team telling the marketing team what's going on. And obviously that's what you need. I also, I sort of helped create Uncork New York. It's a long story, but and to me, having wine by the glass is so important. When restaurants were reopening, I'm very optimistic about everything. We did lose some restaurants, but the fact remains is that this is a national statistic from the National Restaurant Association, that over 50% of wine sold in restaurants, tablecloth restaurants I'm talking about, is wine by the glass. And, Uncork New York, the concept of that was let's put it into the glass and get it out. So I thank you all. I am very, very proud of being selected to do this. So actually, last time I was on with with Sam and Lorraine and a couple of other people, my garage roof fell in. So this has been good. I haven't had a problem yet. The rain's hitting, so everything is good. So I want to thank you, and peace to all. Okay, I'm going to come back and bring Sam back on. Because, he actually hasn't been doing much yet. Sam has just been sitting back, taking it all in. So Sam, comments. This is your baby. This is your show. You put it together. I mean, tell us a little bit more and tell us what you think about these winners.
I think I've been laughing for the past 50 minutes. So thank you, Kevin. You've been a great host, and it's nice to see things come full circle in the industry, especially for Pindar and Paumanok, who have been making wine for so long in Long Island. And I think we also owe a debt of gratitude to Jim Treesize, who is the founder of the Wine and Grape Foundation, and for him taking on this competition. So we're really grabbing the torch from him and doing our best to make this better and better every year to honor his legacy and the legacy of many people in our industry who have made New York an important place on the wine map in the world. I do want to share some exciting news for the winners, which they may already be aware because we requested some extra cases from them before tonight. But our Department of Agriculture, through their Taste New York program, will be featuring the winning wines over the next year in the events that they participate in. And I think a case will be making its way to the governor's mansion, where hopefully over many dinners, these wines will be served over the next year. So it's nice that we've been able to get together here on Zoom, even though it's not in person, but it's nice that we can connect with each other all across the state in this way. But yeah, Kevin, just real pleasure to have you here tonight as well.
Well, we do have a few more minutes, so you can't just leave like that, Sam. I'm putting pressure on him because Jim Treesize will tell you about the Uncork New York. It was over a bottle of New York State wines. Look at it, let's uncork it. Okay, boom. Now I know you have a whole new theme, which I'm sure is going well. But can you give us any insights? Because well, we did have some winners from the Hudson Valley. Millbrook won the Oak Chardonnay. Brotherhood won Best Cabernet Sauvignon. It was split all around. Can you tell us your opinion then? You're a very young guy. Sorry, my beard used to be like yours, but what your projections are. You're dealing with this on a daily basis.
What I think is most exciting is that there are so many varietals that shine in New York, and I wasn't aware until tonight that Ryan's Rosé was 100% Pinot Noir. I think that's quite actually unusual for rosés in New York. Generally, they're if they're from Long Island, they're based on Merlot. There's a lot of Cabernet Franc rosés. There's some that are Blaufränkisch and Lemberger rosés, but I wasn't as familiar with the Pinot Noir rosé. So I'm going to have to procure myself a bottle. But I do think, Riesling has been, a name recognition grape for us. Cabernet Franc has been an exciting one. I really love the Bordeaux blends personally, and they're not only done well in Long Island, but the Finger Lakes. There's a couple great producers of Bordeaux blends. Hudson Valley, they're really leaning into the Cabernet Franc promotion. And I also love Millbrook. We did a special bottling of their Tokai Furlano, which is such a delightful white. And I know there's a couple of producers in Long Island also growing that. So I guess I'll just, go back to Jim's phrase, unity is our strength and diversity is our power. So I think, diversity for us is a good thing, and we do so many things well, as Charles said.
Well, I hate to end early, but better than late, as they always say, right? Give them wanting more. And a thought just came to me about Palmer, and I can't remember if somebody can remember Mr. Palmer's first name. I'm drawing a blank because I'm so old. But anyhow, we'll get it. We'll find somebody will give it to us. But he was a club member at Windows on the World, and he took my wine class, I'd say 40 some odd years ago. And when I went out to visit Palmer Vineyards when he was still with us, you say, when I took your class, I didn't know what's the difference between Sauvignon Blanc and Chardonnay. So, it all starts somewhere, and it continues on. So, Sam, I'm going to say goodnight, unless you or anybody else wants to say another word. I know we got some questions, and I guess we're gonna make sure that you get them. We know where you are, ladies and gentlemen. We're watching you right now. So we got your email, and we know we'll find out. But there were a lot of good questions. So thank you to all the winemakers, to all the people at the New York State Wine and Grape Foundation, and to a job well done. Let's hope that we can do it live from New York. It's the Wine and Grape Foundation, something to that effect. I have a toast here right now. I do have the assemblage, as they say. I'm toasting to you, Sam, and to anybody else that's out there. Have a good night. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you, Kevin.